So here we are at Golden Bridge Pottery. Established in 1971 by Deborah Smith and Ray Meeker. On the Coromandel coast of South India, they have brought in stoneware ceramics into a hinterland that is basically known for only terracotta. I first reached Golden Bridge Pottery as an architect from Bombay 24 years ago to be a student of clay. But this Pondicherry, this ashram, this studio, Ray and Deborah, all this became a new home for me.
I was in the ceramics department in 1969. I had just dropped out of architecture school after 4 years and was finishing a degree in ceramics. And that's where Deborah and I met. Deborah was going to go to Japan with Susan as an interpreter because she had a degree in Japanese language from Stanford. And so she was going to go to Japan with Susan to be her interpreter for the book that Susan was writing on Hamada Shoji.
The ashram started as a closely knit group of Sri Aurobindo and 4 or 5 disciples in 1910. Sri Aurobindo passed away in 1950. But the ashram has become a famed Pondicherry institution.
The mother took over from Sri Aurobindo later and offered a piece of land to Deborah to start the ceramic studio. Ray and Deborah came up with the name Golden Bridge Pottery based on the text of Sri Aurobindo's Savitri.
So at the time, I remember thinking that, gee, if I could manage to live through 1 year of Pondicherry weather, South Indian weather, I might never leave.
There was that piece of land, it was about 1/4 of an acre, 1/3 of an acre, covered with thorn bush. And the mother said, do it here. It's a lucky spot.
We started with a 10 by 20 foot palm leaf shed.
And it very soon became clear to me that Deborah was never going to be able to make pots in that shed. So I started a larger structure of about 600 square feet. And in fact, it wasn't until a year later that the kiln was finally built.
So it took us a while to get going for one reason or another. We had an exhibition at the Ashram exhibition hall. Immediately people started coming that wanted to learn. So we had Kabul, Bulu, and then Angad turn up.
The Golden Bridge Pottery was the first workshop to make handmade glazed stoneware in South India. Now there are more than 16 small units in the Pondicherry, Auroville area. In fact, Pondicherry pottery has become a generic term. Angad Vora, who apprenticed with us from 1976 to 1979, began the mantra pottery in Auroville.
Around the end of 75, I must have started working at Golden Bridge. And I moved to Auroville in 79 and picked up a place that somebody had tried to start a pottery in Kottakai. And that was called Kottakai Pottery. And there for about 10 years, I did salt glaze pottery, single-fired salt glaze pottery without a pyrometer and wood-fired. And it was great fun, very challenging. And during this time, I met Patrick Adamson.
Angad and Michelle were one of the first to learn ceramics at Golden Bridge Pottery. Subsequently, they got together and started Shilpika Pottery in Auroville, where they started to train locals from the villages around. Here are some of them, 30 years later, in their own studios, with the next generation already taking over today.
I completed my pottery course in Government of India, Ministry of Textile and Handicrafts, 1980. Then I was joined in Golden Bridge Pottery, 1991. Then I started my own unit in 1992.
I am Shankar. I am in Alangapam. I am doing in terracotta pottery. I am learning studio pottery in flame pottery in Auroville. 15 years I am working there. After I start the terracotta work, 2003 to 2022.
My name is Gopal. He is my son, Tamil Vendan. They are 6 years, I think, they are working and joined the Michelle Shilpika Pottery, Angad and Michelle. That time I also they are working. Then coming Angad Mantra Pottery starting. There I working more than 25 years. Then I starting my house, small pottery.
My name is Vijay Bhubadi. In Sanjeev Nagar, I am the Surya terracotta handicraft. It's a plus ceramic. I am working the Michelle 8 years. I am make the Sanjeev Nagar pottery 20 years. It's a first son. It's a Surya. It's working here. Always hand or also.
My name is Krishnamurthy. I am from Kotakara village. 1990, Angad and Michelle starting Shilpika. I am working together. Then 1995, Chinmay Anamika starting Mandala Pottery. I am the Mandala Pottery manager. I am doing glazing, firing, slab work. Then I have small studio in my house also. My children are helping too.
So in the early 90s, Chinmay, who was studying ceramics with Michelle next door at Shilpika, started Mandala Pottery with Anamika, a Dutch national, and Krishnamurthy, who was also learning there, joined Mandala. I came in from Golden Bridge Pottery after 3 years of being a student there, and that's how we started this studio.
Sane had a copy of Nader Khalili's book, Racing Alone, where he talks about the concept of fire building and how he basically fathered the concept of firing houses. So, I told Nader, I'm going to go back and do this. We made a very, a 2 meter wide, 3 meter high vault on 2 meter walls in the pottery compound. That was the first fired house. So Dhruva and Monica were partners in Auroville, and they wanted a mud house. So they came to me and said, we want you to build us a mud house. I said, well, if you're asking me, I'm going to build you a fired mud house. And so they said, oh, okay, that's all right. So that's how that came up. I got a note from Prochima, just an outrageous note. Said, when in the hell are you coming over and building my temple? She had the dance school at Nitragram. So I went over and looked at it, and we took a walk, and there were brick fields all around, and so it was a no-brainer.
As we leave behind the crazy traffic of Pondicherry and head north on the East Coast Road, we are approaching the international township of Auroville that was founded in the late 60s. Auroville has the highest concentration of ceramic studios in India due to its close proximity to Golden Bridge Pottery. This is my studio, Forest Pottery. I graduated from Golden Bridge Pottery in 1992. I do high-use slipware, a technique I picked up in Japan. I also do sculptural work and architectural work.
My studio ceramic work is very different from the traditional functional ceramics that we do at Mandala. With my background as an architect, I have a different way of looking at things, and that shows through in the murals and the installations that I do.
This is my studio, Avartan Pottery. I studied painting from MS University, Baroda. That's where I got my first initiation with clay and sensibilities in clay from my teacher, Jyotsna Bhatt. Eventually came here to Golden Bridge Pottery to do glaze making workshop with Susan Peterson. In 2005, I joined Golden Bridge Pottery as an assistant teacher to Ray Meeker. To be around Ray Meeker, who was already making large sculptures at that point. My fellow potter friend Adil, both of us decided to have someone who is a soda expert to come and give us a workshop, give us some knowledge about soda, and we decided to invite Rutan Tedball from UK. We had a wonderful 3-week workshop with her.
When a layman thinks of making a pot, he probably thinks of the wheel. That is only about 10% of the work, but it certainly can be dramatic.
In 1996 onwards, Ray and Deborah started hosting international artists for workshops at Golden Bridge Pottery.
It's a very small part of the culture, and sometimes it seems like there are not enough people who want to encourage it. And when I see what Deborah and Ray have done here, I think it's amazing, really, that they've built up what they've done and made a success of it. And it's a beautiful place.
Let me now quickly take you through some of the works of some of the ex-students and some assistant teachers of Ray's, who over the years have made a name for themselves in the world of clay. So we are back at Golden Bridge Pottery now. And Aarti Manik, who came here in 2014 as a student, is now Ray's assistant teacher and working with students and overlooking some of the production work that's going on.
2017 is when Ray and Debbie asked me to come and help them with teaching. Since the lockdown, we have had an increase in the number of students coming in for the 7-month course as well as the short courses. As far as the production goes, the old staff trained by Ray and Debbie who worked at Golden Bridge for over 35 years have retired, and we have started taking and training a new crop of locals into the ways of Golden Bridge pottery.
And to me, I'm very proud, and I think Ray and Deborah must be even more proud that there are so many people making a very decent living, and I think more than that, having a decent lifestyle, having a decent way of life, because pottery makes you quite humble no matter who you are. The problems and challenges of glazes not working, clay bodies going wrong, firings going wrong, all that makes you very quiet and respectful to the materials you're working with.
Four years ago, Debbie retired from actively running the production work at the studio. She is currently penning her memoirs. Ray still keeps working on his monumental sculptures. That Swan Song exhibition of his is thankfully nowhere in sight. Golden Bridge, our Golden Bridge, it's in a state of flux. We need to just wait and watch and see what tomorrow brings.